Hey YouTube, please give me a moment as I go live on Facebook. Be right back with you. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend so far. Good morning everybody, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Strategic Swing Trader. I am Sami Abusad, Director of Education at T3 Live. As always, thank you for tuning in. We'll be going over the market and we'll be going over some swing ideas for next week. But before I start, if you like this video, please be sure to hit the like button. Also beneath the video, you'll see some helpful links if you'd like to check them out later at the end of the video. But for now, let's get started. First, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss is for educational purposes only. In terms of the market, what did I say? What have I been saying the last several weeks? When you have a grind up, the market is usually relentless. It just doesn't pull back. This is the daily chart of the QQQ. We can also look at the daily chart of the SPY, which is obviously the tracking ETF for the S&P 500. Same thing. Gaps up almost I shouldn't say gaps up every day, but usually gaps and ends up being a narrow range bar almost every day. Narrow range bar. So that's when it's really hard to so this is when you have a grind up, you don't want to expect a pullback, okay, until we start to accelerate. I felt that yesterday was kind of the beginning of the acceleration. So again, here's the angle of the move up, and now Friday separated away from that channel uptrend. So if we can start to accelerate a little bit, then I would start to maybe look for a pullback. But otherwise, I wouldn't expect a pullback at all. Last week I said all out bullish, the week before that all out bullish. Every week I'm going to say all out bullish until we accelerate. Now, if on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we get, big bars or we accelerate to the upside, then sure. Then one can start to look for a pullback back down to support, which would be probably right about here. But for now, bias is bullish, remains bullish. If you're in the room with me or if you're in the Strategic Swing Trader, obviously I'll keep you posted on a daily basis. But this video is just once a week. Bias can change during the week, obviously. But for now, my bias will remain all out bullish going into next week. All right? So hopefully that's clear. And with that said, let's transition over to the trade ideas for next week. And now these ideas that I share with you, I put together a daily watch list every single day. I scan my trading universe, put together a daily watch list that I share with the Strategic Swing Trader members. But from this daily watch list, I also pick my actual plays. Okay? So on the weekend, I like to just share with you my watch list. And if you're in the SST program, you can log on to your account right now and see which plays I actually picked. The 4 that I picked. I picked 2 longs, 2 shorts. Last week I showed you some ideas, and they worked really nicely. CHRW we played in the SST newsletter, right? Worked really nicely. WU showed you this as a climactic sell setup. Worked nicely. Still in it. VSTM still in it. Remember that VSTM? I said, if it's a low price stock, it doesn't matter what the price of the stock is. Remember MDR? Doesn't matter what the price of the stock is, you can still make more. Okay, so those are some nice plays just from last week. Right now, SGen is doing pretty well for us. Nice big move up. Tiva just skyrocketed 9%. So we have some open plays, but here's some more plays for next week. And I picked 4, as I said, that I'm going to play. Now, ACST looks a little sloppy, doesn't it? But look at the larger picture. Look at the weekly chart. That's a weekly breakout setting up. So I like the ACST quite a bit. If it can, I'd love to see it clear the entire base, but you can't wait that long. If you do, then you'll just miss out. So I'm just gonna see if it can clear 210. And I like it over 210 long, stop 189 with a target at $3 or so. That would be about a 50% move. A and AB, 70-some% gap down. Could it rally back up just a little bit? I'm not asking it to, or expecting it to rally back up to 30. Can it rally up to 15, to 20, to 30, you know, something small? Yes, it can. So I like that hourly base breakout on A and AB. Okay? CNDT is a daily pullback. It's really pretty, but deep, a little bit deep. So I like it long over, if you look at the hourly chart, I use the hourly chart for my entries usually. So just over the base right here. So it'd be a base breakout on CNDT. CPG is a larger play. I mean, a larger time frame play. Weekly buy setup. See it? Rally and then a pullback to the rising 20. So the entry for this would be just over the base. Stop just below it. Okay? It's a weekly play. EB broke out, transitioned on the weekly chart, and now has a daily buy setup. So the entry for this would be over this bar's high to 2010. So you could put the stop, you could put the limit order at 2011, 2012. Oh no, it's 2013 actually. So it would have to be above it by at least 1 penny. At least 1 penny. Stop would be under 1955. That's a daily buy setup, okay? With a target at around $22. That's EB. KTUS. KTUS is also a larger time frame play. It looks higher long term. It's a monthly buy setup. That's a monthly buy setup at the rising 20. So this wouldn't be just a swing. It would be a long-term hold. Could take a couple months till it gets back up to there. Okay? So that's the KTUS. I like the weekly. It's got a really nice range expansion bottoming tail. Those are really strong bottoming bars. It's got 3 of them, but this is the biggest. So I like it over here. With this one, since it's into a declining 20 on the weekly chart, I wouldn't put the stop like really tight because it can come in a little bit and then go. But I like it over the base on the daily chart. So you have to make sure you know where you put your stop on this because it's a long-term play and it's not very tight. Okay, PLT is like the A and AB, but not as good, I think. So over the base long, stop under it. Okay. Big gap down, they often rally back up into the gap fill. Could take target 1 here, target 2. Target 2 is usually the declining 20, but it's so far up that I wouldn't expect it to get up there. Maybe just to 30. So it'd be over the base, stop under it, target 1 right here, target 2 maybe around $30. On PLT, that's Plantronics. TPB is a daily base breakout. Looks good. Transitioned on the daily chart, and now just needs to break above the base. Looks good to me. TPB. Some of them are a little thin, like this one I'm noticing is very thin, right? Others they do millions of shares a day, right? So anyways, V-Ray is another transition A on the daily chart. So, and it's got a 1, 2, 3, 4 also. I like the V-Ray. There's a question of whether to do it over 282, right? Or over 297. I would do it over, I usually use the entry that's closest to the moving average, not the one that's farther away from it. Okay, so the one that's closest to the moving average. So I would use 282 as my entry. Okay, stop could be as tight as 254, which is this bar's low. So I like it as a transition A on the daily chart. Let's check on the weekly. When you play transition A on the daily, you just want to make sure it's far below the 20 MA on the weekly, or that it's above it. So in this case, it's far below it, which gives us enough room to, enough reward to risk. Does that make sense? If it gets to 4, that would be nice, right? All right, so those are some long ideas. Here's the shorts. Here is the short ideas. ATHM had a beautiful, really powerful gap down right here. And continuation, and now we have the sell setup. The sell setup actually triggered 2 days ago, on Thursday. Now we have a 1, 2, 3 pattern. So this is like the CHRW, powerful gap down, continued lower, and then I caught it on the sell setup this day. Does that make sense? So this is the same thing here. Sell setup, gap down, sell off, rally, and a sell setup. I didn't catch it though 2 days ago. So now I can do it on the 1, 2, 3. I like it. Short under 71.40 by 72.81. Okay, so in terms of the entry, it would be at the tightest would be 71.41, but since it's a $70 stock, I'd give it minimum to 71.39, and I would put the stop over 72.85. Let's say you gotta give it just a couple pennies on the way in, couple pennies on the way out. KBH, real estate. I don't know if you're aware, but real estate has not been doing well. The market has been doing really well, the equities market, and real estate actually double top out. I don't know if you're aware of that or not. So take a look. We had a 10-year rally, obviously, and look at that, into the prior high, and so far we're double topping. That's not a pretty picture, by the way. I mean, this was pretty and bullish, but double topping like that is a bit scary if you're a homeowner. So that shows there's no momentum, there's no energy in real estate at the moment. Probably we get a pullback, and who knows if the buy setup ends up taking us back up or failing. So real estate is pretty tricky. I mean, it's really, really tricky. I'm a bit nervous about it. In real estate, just so you know, those that don't know this already, when we get a recession or when real estate prices start to pull back a little bit, the first thing that gets hit is luxury. Second thing that gets hit are condos, right? Well, I have both, so that's the problem. I have luxury. So anyways, we'll see, but real estate got hit, and notice we had a 3-bar rally on the daily chart of IYR. So now we're going to get a sell setup, right? So instead of playing IYR, I prefer to play the individual stocks because they move a lot more, and KBH is already printing the red bar. So that's a sell setup under 34.18 by 34.80. That's a sell setup. Pins, which was an earnings play, big gap down, worked nicely, has a breakdown plus a 1, 2, 3. So you could do short under 1953, stop over 2006, 2007 basically. Does that make sense? That's a breakdown plus a 1, 2, 3. Looks good. PSNL is a breakdown, beautiful, but I think it's pretty thin. Yeah, it did 300,000 shares yesterday. Look, when it comes to swing trading, we're not looking for pennies. We're not looking to get in and out. We're looking to get in and hold it for a few days. So I don't mind fairly illiquid stocks like PSNL. If I'm day trading, would I trade anything less than 1 million shares a day that does less than 1 million shares a day? Most likely not. I like 1 million, 2, 3, 4, 5 minimum. So, but for swing trading, it's okay because I'm not looking to get in and get out 5 minutes later. Looking to get in and maybe hold it for several days. So it's okay. And this looks lower, PSNL, as a breakdown. Real is one of my favorite because it's a weekly 1, 2, 3. See that weekly sell setup? And now has a weekly 1, 2, 3. So I really, really like this stock short. This Real had a picture perfect sell setup. If you want to know what a picture perfect sell setup looks like, if you want to frame it, there it is, my friends. That's a picture perfect sell setup with a peekaboo new high, a peekaboo high, like a failure, a bar failure. So try to go higher and then failed. So that's so beautiful. Short under 16.29 by 17.95. Picture perfect. So now I'd like to catch it again, but on a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly chart. Not as pretty, but it's still good enough for me. Okay? So I like Real a lot. SDC, I'm already in it as a short. So it triggered a 1, 2, 3, but I'd like to add to it. Looks lower. See, that's beautiful. I think also CSIQ, which is not on the list. Yeah, CSIQ is not as good. But anyways, SDC triggered already yesterday, but I'd like to add to it. Looks beautiful. WB is also 1, 2, 3, and it'll also be under the support. So under this line right here, stop above. So under this bar's low, stop above the high. 42.91 by 44.44. Target, I would target $40. Looks like about $40. Sign is the same, but I would go with the WB. I think the WB is better. Sign is basically the same. It's a 1, 2, 3. Sina owns a large portion of WB, so they go hand in hand. Look at Sina on the monthly chart. This is the thing about trading, guys, is that number one rule is always to protect yourself. Number one is always to manage risk. If I was married to the stock and bought it somewhere up here thinking it's going to the moon, I may. Sometimes I think about certain stocks and I think this is it. This is going to be the best play of 2019 or whatever, right? And then it starts to come in. I have to get out. I have to protect myself, because with stocks, look at this, was 120 just at the end of last year. At the end of last year, 125. Look at that. Where is it at now? $33. And it still looks good short. And it may end up going to 5 to 20. Who knows? So you always have to protect yourself. But this actually looks lower still. Sina. WB, the same thing. Same thing. Look at that. It was at 140. Now it's at $40. Went climactic and coming back down. They usually come all the way back down to where they came from. When they accelerate like this, they usually go all the way back down to where they came from. All right. At any rate, those are the ideas for Monday. If you're in the SST, as I said, I've picked 4. You can log on to your account and see which ones I am picking. Lastly, I just want to share with you this email that I got last night, 20 hours ago. I just want to show you this email. This is what people ask me, why do I teach? First, I think it's my calling. Honestly, I enjoy it. It makes me a better trader. It has made me a much better trader over the years. But this is another reason why I teach, because where else can you get that kind of satisfaction from? From making money? Not really. So look at this. I'm just going to read it to you. Thanks so much for the AMAT call. The only one I took today, 2K gain. Came in just at the right time as I booked a golfing trip to Ireland next summer with my son. The earnings season so far, 33 total trades, all long. 8 losers, 25 winners, up $13,500. Thanks so much for all you have taught me. I'm starting to put goals and plans in place for a successful 2020 earnings play season and swing trading year. Obviously, this person is a member of the Strategic Swing Trader. I'm starting to see some real success in these 2 methods. My earnings plays have only been long, as I'm not as comfortable on the short size. My plays were between 10K and 20K. Thanks again. So this is really truly what I live for as an educator. All right. With that said, check out the links in the description below if you'd like to trade with me for the next 30 days for just $49. That's almost free. But we do that because we trust that once you check out the service, you will love it and decide to stay. That's the only reason why we do it. Okay? So links in the description below. Thanks so much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.